let's bring on Victor Tiffany. How you doing, Victor?
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me, Egberto.
Well, I had to have you. You came on, you called into the show before 2016. Now you're back. You have a book. We have somebody in office that we all feared would be in office. So I have to ask you, my dear friend, first of all, congratulations on your new book. It has gotten very good reviews. Tell us a little bit about what got you to write in the book, first of all.
Well, we realized before Bernie ran that this country was in dire need of a revolution. We weren't sure how it was going to happen. So much like what you just announced, the purpose of this community radio is to get others involved and wake other people up. That's what we're trying to do here, is to have people who supported Bernie Sanders acquire this book and then give it away. Give it away to people who supported Hillary. Give it away to people who supported Bernie originally and then supported Trump. The idea is to foment revolution. So the tagline is share this book. So we're trying to basically help people understand what the neoliberals are doing to this country when they're in power.
Okay, you're saying when the neoliberals are in power. Let me put it this way to you, Victor. What would make you believe that the options between a Hillary neoliberal and a Trump neoliberal is any different? On the neoliberal perspective, I have other issues with that, but on that particular perspective.
Yeah, so there's two main points that I made in my speech in Philadelphia during the DNC, and I stand by them. One is more to do with neoconservatism, and that is to do with Clinton's desire to have a Cold War, if not a hot war, with Russia. That made her more dangerous. And then more directly to do with neoliberalism is the Trans-Pacific Partnership. She would be trying to cram that thing down our throats, and it was a major coup by the corporations. People don't really understand that the TPP used free trade as a Trojan horse to impose corporate rule and order and regulations, corporate crafted regulations, on our legislators. It would have fundamentally transformed the United States. And Trump, of course, threw that agreement out. We don't really know what's coming with trade agreements, but we do know his trade negotiator, his trade representative, does not like investor-state dispute settlement chapter in NAFTA. So that may be on the way out, and that would be an improvement. Not to say Trump is completely better than Clinton. Obviously, Clinton's Supreme Court choices would have been better than Trump's, and her stands on the environment would have been better than Trump's, but she still supported.
I need to break you because
marginal in some way.
My dear friend Victor, you just made a very important point which is one of the reasons that I was concerned about your movement. You just said Hillary Clinton's Supreme Court justice picks would have been better than Donald Trump's, but Donald Trump, because of his current trade policy, which I'll debate you on later on, which would say it's not going to remain that way. He's going to be just as neoliberal as Hillary is, but he's just going to be personally transactional, meaning that he is going to do the same. He would do a TPP if all those companies that want the United States in the TPP will pay him a little stipend, and then he'll have no problem joining him because he has no loyalties, nothing other than whatever benefits me. But let me tell you where I think the mistake was, and I think you have to agree with this. And I think with your Bernie or Bust movement, you somehow need to modify that. And let me tell you what I'm talking about, my friend. And it goes as follows. By us having a Donald Trump picking Heritage Foundation Federalist type judges, what it means is we have created a generational problem in the going forward, which means by having those judges, we are going to have 30 years of judges who will likely interpret the law exactly as you don't want that law imposed or implied. With a Hillary, we had on the legislative basis the ability to stymie TPP. You may say that would not have happened, but we could have thrown a whole lot of bodies on the streets that would have mitigated that and slow it down. And tell me, where do you disagree with that?
I don't know if we could have slowed it down. It's possible. It depends on, how she came at this. She was very clearly a puppet for Wall Street. and the TPP was a Wall Street agenda.
Of course.
So it's not clear that we could have stopped it any more than we can stop Trump's most recent Supreme Court nominee. But you said, and I agree with you, this is going to set us back 3 decades. And the alternative would be to push us forward into a corporate dystopia that a lot of people are having a hard time wrapping their head around what the TPP would have done, because it's not here, right? Well, all we have is the document itself, and without having it implemented into our system, we don't understand the extent to which it would have fundamentally transformed the United States. So yes, Trump will set us back decades, but we avoided being foisted forward into a corporate dystopia,
my friend,
that we would not get out of.
My friend,
one more point.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
The court.
Yes, sir.
The next president can stack the court, bring in 11 justices, and immediately flip that into a liberal bench.
Okay, let me just tell you, I don't think you're reading the cards right on that one, my friend. And first of all, I asked Victor to come on the program because I like Victor. Victor and I worked indirectly together at Move to Amend. We are trying to amend the Constitution with the 28th Amendment, and he covers that as well. So, I mean, I think Victor's book is a book that people should get. And there I gave somebody that I disagree with a plug, Victor, but I want folks,
I appreciate that.
And I want folks, but here's why I want them to read your book, Victor. I think open information is what's most important. I think everybody knowing all the cards on the table allow us to make the right decisions. And better, Victor, what I want to tell you is I'm pretty sure that if we sat down in a room, I don't want to dissuade you from having your Bernie or bust moniker at all. What I want to sway you on is to say, let's modify this that best supports the poor and the middle class. Because let me tell you something, my friend. You are not the only one responsible. In fact, I don't even think you share much. I don't think the Bernie or bust movement, and we can't stay much longer because we have to go into fund drive mode, but I don't think the Bernie or bust movement was much of an influence in the election. A lot of my good friends from the Hillary camp would like to say that played a part. I think the most important thing that played a part in the loss was the neglect of Appalachia, the neglect of the middle of the country, not going back into Michigan, not going back into Iowa. That's what my honest belief is. Of course, you probably siphoned a few votes on the fringe sides in different areas. But I don't think it is fair for anybody to throw that on your back as, oh, the Bernie or bust movement changed anything, because a lot of people that were the Bernie or bust folks are the people that would not have voted Democratic anyway. So I think it's very important that people understand that. But by the same token, I think you going forward with your book, with your movement, and what we have to do in 2018 can play a part. And what I would like to tell a lot of folks that are in this movement is drop, and I'm not talking about white privilege or I'm saying drop privilege, period. Because remember who we are fighting for. We're not fighting for our ego. We're fighting for the poor and the middle class who are getting screwed. And whatever amends we have to make to our own movements. And notice I didn't say the Bernie or bust movement. I said our own movements to coalesce into something that does right to poor and middle class America is what we have to do. And don't you agree with that, my friend?
I do. And if I can just give people a hand help finding this book, it's bernieorbust.info, INFO, where they can find that online. No, I do agree with that. I just want to make one point in terms of helping the middle class. I read a very interesting statistic. For the first time since the 70s, when neoliberal Carter was president, for the first time since then, in 2017, the middle class has finally seen an increase in pay.
That's not
under Trump.
No,
or not.
No.
Not a good thing.
Stop.
That's part of.
I can't let that go. I cannot let that go. And let me tell you. And Victor, don't. You're my friend, okay? But don't ever go out there and say that again. And let me make the point here. And this is we cannot stop, Victor. And my dear friend, stop. I cannot let. The only thing people get on politics done right is the truth. And let me tell you what the truth is. Everybody that's listening to me online, on podcast, radio, everywhere. Here's the reality. Don't be fooled by a small increase in your paycheck when your health insurance is going up, when you're paying a higher tariff because of a false trade war and all these things. Do not be fooled by a small increase in your wage. It's like I give you a teaser and I take a lot more. Victor, do not do that to our people. Do not do that to our people, Victor. You cannot ever say that again, my dear friend. I'm telling folks that you are too important to this movement to do that. So, Victor, first of all, I want to thank you for being on the show with us today. I want to also thank you for writing the book. We have to have several points of view, and you go out there and make the point. But please don't give Trump credit where it's not due, my dear friend. Okay?
I will be careful. Thank you. I appreciate this time.
You have a wonderful day. Thank you for having been a part of Politics Done Right.
Thank you.
Have a great day.